Good evening and welcome everybody to the regular Gilbert Council meeting of May 26, 2026. The regular city council meeting of May 26, 26 is now 6:18 p.m. Meeting to order and we'll have a quorum, roll call for a quorum.
Councilor Potashnik?
Present.
Councilor Gilbert?
Here.
Councilor Reddenpenny?
Here.
Councilor Cotton?
Here.
Mayor Overstar?
Here,
Police chief, teacher? We don't have to call his name, but
just up here
I know. But I want to make you feel good.
to be leading. Yeah. All right, thank you. We have a quorum. We can have a meeting. Could everybody help me with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I think we have a couple items to add to the agenda. Then could you state them, please?
Yes. Yes, I can. Under new business, we have a closed session for 6/1 at 6 p.m. that we will talk about.
We'll have to make a special meeting here for that.
Yep. Okay, the curb for the alley behind Paul's Northland Small Engine. I believe that's what it's called, right? Northland? Okay. And then, you want me to add the other stuff, but just do it under mine?
We'll gotta add 54, no, we'll take it at the same time, but add the 53, whatever.
The change order for the community center,
Yeah,
that's under C on old business.
yeah, that'll be, plus that'll be talked about and done at the same time on your report, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Change order. And that's a big money item there. Okay, we have 3 items, anything else? No?
I do have one application for summer help that we got, to talk about whether or not we can hire them.
No, it's like a good put on the agenda, I think.
Okay, then summer help under L for new business.
Summer help,
Mm-hmm.
is that window closed now for advertising?
I believe
Yeah, I think it might be done actually by today, if I'm not mistaken.
By when, today?
today.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look, but
You got no more.
yeah, they've thrown it in for 2 weeks. I called them the day after,
Yep,
so.
so I think it's done.
And there was no more in after 5 o'clock?
We just got that one today and that was it.
Okay. Okay, we got 4 items for addition to agenda. Also,
I move to approve the agenda with the additions.
motion by Councilor
I'll
Stewart
second.
to add these items to the agenda,
Second.
second by Councilor Quanten. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, we have consent agenda. Also, regular minutes of meetings of May 12th and working session meetings of May 12th. These are okay. The council, I reviewed them prior to sending them out. And I think they should be okay unless somebody finds something else.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Councilor Skirvik, do I hear a second to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilor Reddenpenny. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. All right, public input. Does anybody in the audience tonight have anything to wish to discuss with the council other than what's on tonight's agenda?
Tim's on the agenda, but he can speak.
Yeah, I'm gonna move them up anyway. After there's no other person other than public in the public here want to discuss something with council? I don't see any, so we're done with public input, okay? And now I'm gonna move Tim up, Tim Matson up, so he doesn't have to sit through a long meeting maybe. And Tim Matson is here, we're gonna talk to the council about an announcement he wants to make to us. Okay, go ahead, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councilors, city councilors, and chief teacher. My name is Timothy Matson. I'm honored to announce my candidacy for the St. Louis County Commissioner for District 6. As a United States veteran who served in Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and with over 30 years dedicated service to the VFW, as a post commander and now the quartermaster, I bring a lifetime of commitment to service, accountability, and teamwork. I'm running to represent the hardworking people who make this district thrive, our farmers, loggers, I have to say law enforcement officers because I'm married to one, first responders, steel workers, and veterans, along with each and every family and small business that calls District 6 home. I understand the challenges we face, our infrastructure, our public safety, our responsible budgeting, tax control, and transparency. These issues demand steady, common sense leadership, and as a homeowner in this district, I share your concerns and your experiences. But let me be clear, I make no promises except to work tirelessly for you each and every day. This campaign is not about me, it's about what I can do for you. I'm ready to listen, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to serve the community that has given me so much. I thank you for your time, allowing me to be here, your support as we begin this journey together. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tim. I just want to state that I wish you the best of luck in your campaign, and whatever I can do to help you, please reach out. And I thank you for coming here and announcing that at our public meeting here.
Yes, thank you. Like I say, I do look forward to, if I do get elected to working together to make this city and the community and the county itself a better place to live. So I do thank you for your time. Thank you.
Anybody else?
And I would like to thank you. I'd also like to extend an invitation. I'd like to sit down with you out at my campground and have a conversation about tourism and how some of the trail areas affect that you would be potentially charged with assisting with.
I know we've been trying to get together here, so I will make it a point now that I'm officially running for commissioner to get over there and talk to you each and everybody. Chief, if there's anything that you would like me to talk to you about it. I get a lot of stuff from my wife, but there are other concerns in this town also. So thank you again. Really, I appreciate your time.
Okay, anybody else on the council want to say anything to Tim? Any questions for Tim? I guess not. Thank you for coming, Tim,
Yes.
and good luck again.
Thank you.
All right. We're mayor and council. Councilor Ratoshnik.
Oh, let's see. I know the Masaba bit is finished at the cemetery. Did the public works take care of those culverts up at the cemetery?
I believe Sam said that he did, but I will have to verify that. I've had many conversations, but that was last week already when I talked to him. I'll have to ask him again.
Did they ever figure out about if they're gonna move that road for that guy's property? The trail?
The trail, no, I don't believe that that's what the plan is to move the road. Because I believe when we looked at it on the plat and talked to Attorney Lindsay, that it's not, his property is not on the road. I mean, it's not,
On the trail?
I mean, it's, the trail and his property are separate. It's not like we have,
Easement down there.
right, I mean, it's not like we're on the, he's on the trail. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Still city property, you say.
So
Right, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
this is the Sherwood one. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure which one you were talking about.
The 310
I was
one.
confused. Okay.
Yeah, so then the driveway access would be
Well-
coming from Sherwood Drive, or going
The
down.
trail, the
It would be coming
ATV
from-
trail.
It would be coming from the ATV trail, not,
They don't want it on where we go.
okay,
Want it to come in on the other side because of the traffic that would be going down to the lake.
And you're saying that the trail is not on his property?
Correct. That's what I was told.
So if his driveway is going to come from the trail, I'm assuming at some point he's going to pave that or put concrete or something like that, which means that's no longer a trail. We will have to move the trail so that it's ATV accessible without going across his driveway.
Yeah, you don't want his driveway
I don't-
going onto the trail.
When you say that he will eventually blacktop it or cement it, what do you mean he will eventually, what, his driveway or?
His driveway. So he's gonna want to have, I would assume, I'm not gonna speak for him, but I would assume he's gonna want asphalt or concrete that would go at some point from Sherwood Drive to get to his house. So that is going to disrupt the trail, in which we would have to consider moving that trail. Which
How does that
should
disrupt the
be
trail?
easy because we have the parking lot right there. But
No, I know, but I'm just trying to understand how that disrupts the trail if he's just driving on the trail to get to his.
No, you don't want him crossing that trail.
you don't want
Driveway to his
ATVs. You don't want ATVs going consistently back and forth from like asphalt to concrete to.
There wouldn't be
They're
any
meant to be on
asphalt.
dirt trails.
There wouldn't be any asphalt because the trail is here and his property starts
Yeah,
here.
that's what she's saying, it's separate. So he wouldn't be putting his driveway over that.
Trail.
He just wanted to use the access to get to his driveway,
So-
basically.
So this is the ATV trail.
Right.
This is his property. He would drive here and turn into his property. He would not be putting blacktop on the trail.
He would not be driving on the trail at
No,
all.
he would be driving on the trail, but he will not be putting blacktop
No,
on
he
the
shouldn't be
trail.
driving on the trail at all.
So then he's gonna have a licensed street vehicle going from Sherwood Drive over a short portion of the trail, which is not designed for street vehicles,
Okay.
and then onto his sidewalk. And there is also about a 6-inch drop from the asphalt. It goes down quite quickly. We've actually had to throw, I think Sam had to throw mill feed on there because of the erosion that's been caused by riding. So there's a height difference in there that I'm sure he's going to come back at us with, to say we need to remediate that height, or somebody's gonna need to fix that height difference.
Well, we got another problem here from the council. That trail is not our trail. We didn't put that trail in. We gotta talk to the trail people and the Masabi Trail people, both of them. They've been involved. We have made an easement long ago, at the beginning of all this, City of Gilbert and the trail people, to allow that, they have the easement there, so they're in control of that problem. It's not a problem here, and that gentleman who owns that property has to deal with them on how to get this property, because he's not gonna be able to use that.
And I'd like to propose thought on a potential solution for that, because I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've really kind of looked at that area. We do have that parking lot that we use as an overflow. It would be a very simple thing for us to reroute that, but you're right, we would have to have, the city of Gilbert would have to have approval from the Joint Trail Board to change that easement, which again goes back to what I've said for a while now, is we need to plot out the trail corridors that we have and designate them as specific land portions. And I would like to see us change those trail corridors into park zoned areas so that they are protected and cannot be altered by future developers. So that's one really good example of where we really need to do that so that we can protect the trails.
Can we have the trail owners come out and we can kind of walk through a couple of, because,
Scenario.
yeah, we could, there's a fire hydrant right at the base of that hill, so we can't just, skirt it around. It's gonna have to be completely remade to go. There's like a big pile of dirt there now.
Mhm.
It's gonna have to go, towards, whatever road that is over there. It has to go- Yeah, it's gonna have to be on that side, because that's gonna give him all the room that he needs for his driveway access. He can pave all that.
Yeah.
But But then
You
here,
gotta put that trail at a diagonal there.
Yeah.
Instead of how it's running. And then it gives him room to do whatever he wants.
Given the proximity of his access to his property and the trail, we may want to consider, do we want to put just post bollards in between those two so that because if we start having ATVs and stuff going across his driveway, I'm sure we're looking for future problems. You know, we need to have some sort of barrier, and it can be very simple, whether it's a guardrail or something like that, to direct people through that corridor.
we have to keep that open too, because there's big Jeeps that come through there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's gotta be Jeep sized.
yeah, so it's not like a class 2 trail, so it's gonna have to be open to, trucks, so.
Again, that's not our
That's-
problem.
No, but
No.
we need to talk to them so
Yeah.
that they can reshape that. And I mean, it's not gonna be too terribly hard, but
No.
we just gotta keep the trail away from his property,
Yeah.
so he has all access that he needs to do.
And then you gotta consider that other property that's connected, if that's ever gonna be built, that diagonal should be coming into the trail again farther down, so you can also make a driveway for the next property, if that ever gets developed.
Which I think we already have that area platted out with access from Minnesota.
Oh, okay,
So it would literally just be a trail crossing,
yeah.
because that comes really close.
So then you just need the diagonal to give him enough room to put his driveway alongside the trail.
We're talking about the next lot, next to
Trail
the
right here.
farther, all the way to Minnesota.
This is the
The
trail,
next lot.
comes
The
right,
both blocks are on the
that has to come up,
big
has to come
trail.
around here.
My question is, how is he getting into that?
I thought when we discussed it way back, we were gonna give him an access, we have to make an access road to that property.
Instead of cutting.
Yeah.
You don't think access road?
Just go like this.
Which legally,
How do I go there?
if we're crossing the trail,
Here.
then we have to have, the
Yeah.
joint trail commission has to approve that.
Yes,
And we won't be crossing him
deeper into the
Drive it out.
just with the diagonal,
But
whatever.
Like a fire hydrant.
We got a lot,
Okay,
we got too many conversations going on here. Hold on.
Okay, I see.
Okay, I know he requested a land use permit and he sent a drawing of what he's gonna put there. Now, he's gonna put a modular home there that he's gonna bolt together. Now, he's in the R4 district and his contractor was supposed to come up and meet to decide where they were gonna put that.
yep, I haven't heard when that is yet.
There's covenants for the R4 district. I know that Mary Lou Sixbury put one of those type of units together. And there's a covenant that I don't know if he has, which states that he has to have 20% of his front facade must be brick.
Can you provide me a copy of it now, make sure he gets it?
Yeah, I'll give you this one.
Was that rezoned to R4?
It is R4.
It's on
It's R4, so.
It's C in here. C for.
Yeah, it shows C there.
That needs to be
I don't know that this is,
rezoned. It's a little
C is commercial, right?
Oh,
C is commercial?
So that's commercial property he bought.
Yeah, so that doesn't,
That was rezoned.
I don't think we rezoned it to R4. I think he bought it as,
And it's commercial because it was supposed to be a grocery store.
yeah. It was supposed to be a convenience store there or something.
So we're looking at it.
I'll give you a little history on that. I tried to get a council to make a deal with the previous owner to swap, get that land into city hands and make a swap with some property down on Ely Lake, next to the beach. But it never happened. Because I knew this was gonna be a big problem for city builders in the future. And if we could have got that swap done, and the previous owner was really willing to do that swap, and I couldn't get it done. And now here we are.
I think you can still do an R1 there. It's commercial, you can still zone it as a R1 or, a house. You don't have to do much. If it was a R1 and you tried to go commercial, but if you go from commercial to R1, it's an easier process.
I think that is something that we're going to need to address, because
tell you what, we can put that on that
Special,
special meeting. This is gonna talk.
because Brian will be there and he'll advise.
So this part of the special meeting wouldn't be closed. This part of the meeting does need to be open.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Well, then we wait for it to,
For the next meeting.
this special meeting is gonna be a whole closed session, nothing else but a closed session.
Right.
Why don't we can make it something else too?
Yeah, we can make it a special then with the closed
Right,
session.
Yeah, right.
That's what you wanna do.
So as an agenda item, that would be specifically talking about the zoning for this property.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a special meeting open to the public and then closed within it, okay?
Is there any updates on the lift station of what it's gonna cost to get it going? Nothing yet?
No.
Are they going to remove the garbage cans on the campground this week?
That was what we discussed in the working session about how we'll tell them that the commercial is, or that their provider is gonna be picking up the trash next week and that the public works is not supposed to. So I will inform it at the same time to pick up the trash cans.
This week?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say they should be picked up before Friday, before the weekend check-ins. Because otherwise we'll have garbage in them.
We'll tell them.
That's it, ready?
That's it.
Okay, Councilor Skrillex.
Just two quick items, reminders to the public that candidate filings are now open. There's the mayor office, there are 2 4-year term council seats and a 2-year term council seat that are all open. Filing closes at 5 o'clock on June 2nd. Second one is thanks especially to the fire department for the incident that we had up along Highway 135. I know Approved Home Services certainly reached out and wanted to extend thanks. I directed them to you, Chief Nemec. He wanted to talk to you about a donation. But certainly thanks from the entire town. All it would have taken is one wind shift and the entire ridge and a good portion of the city could have been in serious jeopardy. So the other thing that I would like to talk about in relation to that, because that really underscores the importance and professionalism of our fire department. As we are going into budget season, there is one item that I would like to make sure that we talk about, which is the contribution to the para payments. The city of Gilbert is dramatically below everyone else in the area, and we need to make some improvements to that if we're going to continue to recruit professionals. And we have one of the best fire departments in the area, and we need to think about that very long and hard. We have to come up with a solution for that. That's all I've got.
Yeah, thank you. Councilor Redpain.
I'd like to bring one item up. When we have the Masabi bit come out to fix potholes, I would like them to look at Oregon Court. We have some very massive heaving of the concrete on Minnesota Avenue. When you come down Minnesota Avenue towards Oregon Court, there's a big hump there, and there's also 4, I think, down our street.
In the cul-de-sac.
Yep, in the cul-de-sac. The one bump caused damage to one of my vehicles just this past weekend. So, not that they have to repave it, but they need to look at doing something. So,
Do you want me to get we've given them a list of the potholes that we want them to fix, which aren't all of them. Do you want me to get a price of those, if that one isn't one that they can get to in the bid, or what? I just want to make sure that you know what you want me to do.
yeah, I mean, it needs to be looked at. So
Okay.
let's see what they can come up with.
Okay.
I think that's an important one. When people start bottoming out on them, those are probably priorities. Potholes to be fixed.
I mean, you were going 90 miles an hour.
Were we supposed to get a list of the potholes that they're gonna fix?
I gave them one that Carl gave me. I sent them one that said these are the ones that are priorities.
Can we have it?
I can get
Can
it.
we get the list?
I can get it for you.
And, you know, put that on there to have a look at, Sam and Masabi to look at, okay?
I don't think that Councilor Potocznik or Councilor Redefending will disagree with me on that, but that's an issue that's been, what, 5 years longer, probably, that needs to be, it's basically, I know exactly, every time I don't like going down your house because of that. It's a really bad, it's a pipe that was not put in correctly, is the root cause for it. So, there needs to be a solution because you can't drive down there. It's,
Well, have to take a look at it. Well, not everything on it in that $9,000 bid is gonna, you know,
Right.
just additional, we might have to re-look at some of this stuff.
You probably have to double that to get anything done.
And then you have the IT update too?
Do that now.
Yeah.
Well, there's not much to say about the IT update. We still have the vendor reaching out to us. It's Tasker, right? Was it Tusker? Tusker. And I did message him today, Ty, to talk about our issue with the squats. He is talking to the city of Duluth. So hopefully we'll have something and we'll try to implement that. We're gonna watch costs, so. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Councilor Continent.
Yeah, I just have one thing, I just wonder what the council's feelings are when it comes to mowing time, which is right around the corner, if not here. Already about that Gillespie lot, is it necessary to mow the entire thing, or maybe just do a perimeter pass around it? And those lots down on Forest Drive there, where they mow, deep into them, maybe just do a perimeter pass along the curve there instead of, it's awful time consuming. And I don't know, it's just discussion.
Here's the thing on how that all started on there, because it's in close to Gilbert proper residential area.
Yeah.
We have a weed statewide mandate city weed control, just so like we have fire control, so we don't have fire close to us, fire department, weed control, that's a big one. It's like animal control, it's kind of like our statutory responsibility to keep the weed falling away from our residential people as best we can. Not so much on the outside perimeter as much as we can, but we do that with the fire control. Tamper the weeds down, and that's why we do that over there. It's a big enough area inside that area of town to do, and that's why we do
Yeah,
that.
well, you've got high grass all over around the city and everywhere else, and Sparta and everywhere else. I mean, you can't control it everywhere, and I thought it would sure save them a lot of time, because they do spend a lot of time cutting that grass.
We can't control it everywhere, but everywhere that we can, visible to residential and will affect the residential area. That's what we have to.
I know it's for noxious weeds, I've heard about that it's up to us to control noxious weeds, but I don't know what's in that field as far as I see what, just normal meadow, grasses. I don't know, this discussion, that's all.
I would like to request, if, Lynn, if you could potentially have a conversation with Sam to identify, because I think there's a couple of areas in town that are very large grass areas, and the ones that I can think of are Gillespie property, Hopkins Park, Kennedy Park, by the arena and ball fields. If we can have the crew, as they're going through, give us, here's how many hours on an average cut, this is how long it takes us to cut this. I think that would help us to make a more informed decision about, You know, and also there's the area that's by AEOA in front of the Gilbert sign area too. If they could just say, okay, this is a large area, it takes us 20 minutes to cut it, or it takes us 2 hours to cut it, or whatever the number is. I think that would, on an average cut, would give us some informed information as to
Right.
whether or not we think it's necessary.
Yeah, it would help too, and then, you know, as far as cutting it, you know, I know they cut, I don't know, looks like 2 inches, they cut the grass down to, you know, those areas that are large, maybe you can cut them down to 4, you know, just some way to save some time. It's just, to me, their time can be used better elsewhere.
And one more thing, we have light around town for high grass, and we don't wanna be
Accused of lying.
part of that problem as far as the city goes.
And that brings up that
How can we tell other people to
Yeah.
cut
behind the recycle, we have some lamp posts there
that?
that have been in the grass for years, and I don't know what's going on with
That
that.
has to go, I think it's been done long ago by the council, have them,
Remove them, yeah,
Remove, yeah.
or sell them or whatever. They look like they're decent
that was
lighthouse,
talked about long.
but they're still there for how many years now?
Directive to Lynn to have Sam look at that and
Yeah, put them for sale if we're not gonna use
put them
them.
in the yard. I think you were supposed to put them in our backyard.
Right. Yeah.
We need a resolution to sell them.
No, what?
Well,
Yeah,
just say
it's
if it
service.
comes to that, you know, whatever we're
Put them in
doing.
the backyard now, but don't put them
Right.
over there. Leave them there.
So one other thing, I know we addressed this last year, and I don't remember where we landed on it. But for the blight properties, the ones that have, because we're gonna get close to, particularly 3rd of July was where it kind of got to be a pressure point where citizens were saying, well, this, looks like, doesn't look good during the 3rd of July, et cetera, and they asked us to do some cutting, and that's when we found out that the county no longer has that program. I think at one point we had decided that we were gonna contract out to a landscaping company to do those a couple of times a season as they came up, and I don't know if that's something we still wanna do, or.
What ditches are you talking
No, these were problem properties,
about?
basically.
Oh.
Houses that had really long grass and stuff like
Okay.
that. And previously, the city crew had gone in, a couple times a season and got that done. But I think, if I remember correctly, last year we had a landscaping company come in and do that for us, so that the city crew could focus on, hanging
I
flags.
might know about that, Ty. Were you involved in that? His property's grass cut with a contractor? Wasn't there something like that? last
Yeah, so we have a contract we can hire, and they also do the cleanup.
year? A lot does that, right?
Yep. But the grass, the city crew usually will cut the grass. We have beta property, the city crew cuts it. We have both communities.
They won't cut the grass? You say? Did you say that?
The county stopped doing it, so
Yeah, the county's not doing it anymore. So we've got a
We're not
property.
talking about having to put this on the property tax. You're not talking about that. We can still do that.
Yeah, yes, when you abate the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called abatement. But we have one, if you look at one house, a perfect example is up on Dakota Avenue, the 500 block. You've got a residence up there that's been abandoned for the better part of 8 years. It's tax forfeit, and there's really not much maintenance going on there. And it's technically the county owns that, but they're not mowing that stuff down. It would be our responsibility. I would imagine we could put that on the taxes. So.
They're not taking care of their property?
no, but there's a big foreclosure, St. Louis County land sale sign right in front of
And
it.
there's, they're coming
Sorry.
I was gonna say it is on the St. Louis County site right now, so.
That is their property, they gotta take care of it.
And we're gonna have probably 3 more properties coming next year or two. Same situation.
That doesn't sound legal to me, that's their property, they gotta
Maintain it.
maintain it, absolutely.
Send them a letter. What it costs, see what happens.
That's why I got that thing on Main Street, no, for 20 years of staying up and running. But, no, that's their property, like we have our own property we have to take care of. 'Cause we can't tell other people not to take care of their property, we're not taking care of our property. It's just, that's the way it works.
I guess the other big area that I'm thinking of is now that the school campus properties have been sold, the school won't be cutting those. I'm assuming the new owner is going to take responsibility
If
for
you
that.
don't, you'll be having a
You
plane
should.
ticket.
And the other thing, if the council wishes, I can look into the sentence to serve. They started out the sentence to serve a little bit recently. They actually came to Biwaga last week for one day and did the cemetery. They only picked certain projects, but they went in and cleaned up the cemetery. Weed whip, I think they had 3 people weed whipping and 3 on mower, so. So I will check into that too, Thursday and see if I can get some answers on that too.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, finish up with
Lynn, so can we get Sam to give us kind of those estimates? Because I think, I agree with Bob, we should get some information to know where the big areas of grass cutting are.
Right, can you just go over which ones they are, because they don't.
Gillespie property out beginning of town.
Yep,
Hopkins Park, Kennedy Park, in front of the sign area as
By
you come into
AUA.
town, by AUA,
And then the arena and ball field.
and the arena and ball fields.
And the Forest
okay, that's
Drive,
one I did get.
down from Slavich's, they go way into that.
Yeah.
There's no need for that, that I can see.
The
I know it
campground-
was, they said it would look better to sell that property, but that property is too narrow to even sell it for housing now, so.
So the campground would be excluded because Don and Sean take care of that. So
Correct, no, I don't know. Okay.
Bob, what did you say, Forest Drive?
Forest Drive down from Slavich's, Sam knows where
Enterprise,
Slavich's.
Enterprise Drive.
Isn't it Forest Drive down that lower road?
No, Enterprise Drive.
The lower roads? I thought it was Forest. Oh,
Enterprise Drive.
Sure, Forest.
Sure, Forest,
Yeah. Sure, Forest Drive.
Right, again, we gotta watch for this weed situation, and that's why we're cutting this stuff.
Whatever, but I'm just saying, if there's a way to have them do stuff that's more permanent, so we can see improvements in the town.
Well, all right. I want to thank everybody involved with the fire department, Fire Chief here, Mr. Anthony Nemlik, Fire Chief for the nice quick response and ending to the fire that we had situation here a week or 2 ago now. And I mean, it was close to Gilbert, close enough. And you were, with the help of the wind and everything, and a response by DNR, the Gilbert Fire Department, and others that I don't know. You were able to handle it, and we thank you for that. It could have been a catastrophe, yes, of some kind to some parts of Gilbert up there. Thank you for all that, for everybody's involvement on that. I know there was helicopters around and all kinds of different departments involved. I want to thank everybody that was here.
I do have one other thing.
Yeah, right.
Minor thing, where we put the concrete slab there by the fire department, where we took that styrofoam off the wall and it left the whatever adhesive is on there.
I'm gonna have him come up right after the fire chief, right here after me.
Yeah, I mean, you can use hand cleaner, anything that cuts tar, just smear some hand cleaner on there and let it soften up and just peel it with a putty knife. I mean, it would,
Bob, I think with last fire chief, he was gonna tell us that they were gonna make a flower bed there
yeah, I don't think you need to.
for Mr. Scott Aversa. A flower bed that would cover that whole wall, because you would make a flower bed of some kind.
I think they were actually looking at putting up like a display too, where they could
Memorial.
post information on, and so they've been collecting donations for it. It's sort of an ongoing thing right now.
So that would cover up that wall. I don't know, fire chief, got anything to add to that?
But if that wall is still exposed, you can clean that asphalt off, just get a tar cleaner or Gojo or whatever, smear it on or let it soften it. You can peel it with a putty knife, maybe, it depends on what adhesive they use.
Yeah, we'll try to work on that on our next Monday's meeting and trading night. We'll see if we can find some stuff and talk to Sam and see if he's got any ideas or what we can do different to try to
I
clean that
know
up.
Joe Burke used to work on my asphalt on my hands all the time.
So,
As long as you're up at the podium, I will give a report, then I'll finish after you.
Okay, well, good evening, Mayor and Council. I just stopped by to give a quick update on a few things that's going on. Currently, we're working with Lynn and the ladies in the office there, applying for an AFG grant. The AFG grant is open, so Tristan Makala is heading that for me. We're working on the 7 SCBA's that to fill the rest of the spots, and a new compressor fill station and storage bottles to fill our SCBA's. Because the current one that we have is only good for the 2216s. And now with these new high pressures, we're gonna work on trying to get a little bit of high pressure storage tanks, 6,000 PSI, so we can fill our bottles totally right away and not have to wait for the compressor to build back up. And so we're working on that currently. Hoping we can get that with the pricing and everything that I got is right around $143,000 what we're going to go for the AFG grant. So if we can get that, we can get something for it. We'll work on that. And then we also applied for the State Farm Good Neighbor Firefighter Safety Program grant, which is $10,000. We should find out in August for that one. And then we'll see what we can use for that 10,000. If we can get one SCB out of that, you know, it's better than nothing. The hose testing is scheduled for July 15th for the city of Gilbert. We got FireCat. It's budgeted. It's in the budget and everything for this year. FireCat is going to come to town. They take all the hose out of the station. They test everything. They take everything off the trucks. They put everything back on the trucks. And they take care of everything. So I'm gonna talk to Sam and hopefully utilize that parking lot at the top of New Jersey with that hydrant right on the corner there, right next to the old playground for the school. Cause they need a paved spot that's about 200 wide by 300 feet long to stretch all the hose out and test all the fire hose. And then the compressor service is complete for the year. I wasn't able to come and let you know that the guy was here because he showed up on the day of the fire. He called me and said, yeah, I'm in town. Can I just swing by and get it done? That's also a budgeted item. It's on the budget for the year. So that is complete. Marion has that invoice and we'll get that taken care of. And then MBFDE ends July 30th for our department award. So we're still working on finishing up our award for that, and I'll be purchasing some DVDs, some training videos and stuff for the guys that they can take home, and some more training documents for that. And then thank you for everybody's support during the fire. The neighboring departments did awesome. DNR did awesome getting the planes here in time, and PD did awesome helping us block traffic, and I know Ty was running around letting me know where people were and what was going on, so everything fell into place on a really bad situation that could have been worse. So I'd like to apologize. We didn't get to grass burning this year. We tried a few times, but the DNR will not give us any permits because every time we thought about it, it was 20 to 25 mile an hour winds, or otherwise it was raining. It was just a bad spring to try to burn grass. So I know we had a couple of residents called and asked us to burn their fields and burn their spots, and we didn't get to it this year. So hopefully we can get back to it next year and burning the grass around town that we normally do. Any questions for me?
Also, Stewart.
So I've got two questions. One, on the grant application will include the SCBA's. Is that, those are the remaining ones, the 7 that we didn't get, correct?
Affirmative, yes.
So potentially a funding source that would help us to not take a big budget hit.
Yes.
Okay. Is there, like, if you had to say there's a 50-50 chance, 60-40 chance?
We've applied for it every year, and I think the last time we got it was 10 years ago or 12 years ago. It seems like the big stuff kind of stays down south and in the metro area,
Sure.
but there's always a chance. That's why we keep on trying for them all.
In those loan application processes, is there space for kind of advocacy letters from, say, the council or from other elected officials? Sometimes that does help to get a higher score in the grant process, and I was just wondering if those are, it would be helpful for us to be able to reach out, because then we can make a call to,
We'll look to see if there's a letter.
Morris or whoever, to see if we can get some assistance from them. Sometimes 2 or 3 extra points on the grant scoring can really help.
Yeah, definitely. This is my first time dealing with it. We used to have somebody write the grant for us, and then it just got more and more difficult and more of a headache for them, so we kind of stopped doing it. So we're trying it ourselves this year. So we'll see what happens.
On that issue of grants, folks here, yeah, get a list of grants that you want to do, but we have to okay that here. Yeah, I haven't seen that up here, you know, before you send out.
Yes. Yep. As soon as we get it all figured out and the paperwork all, together and everything before we submit it,
You have to rubber stamp it.
Yep.
That's that question.
Well, that's, clear, just not send it out, because without, City of Gilbert on there, it ain't gonna do you no good.
Yep.
Okay?
The other question I have is in regard to the hose testing. I know that you're looking at the area above the school, so that property's changed hands. The parking lot, I think, is still city, but have you considered, there's also the parking lots that are across from Anthem that are also city-owned parking lots that might fit your need for that?
I did go look at that, but there is no fire hydrant on that side of the road, and they do need a full water supply. So that's kind of why I thought that went up there, and I was gonna talk to Sam and figure out if that is usable. I also thought about the fire hall, but I don't wanna block that off just in case we have something.
Okay. You just want
and-
to make sure you have the space to do that too.
Yeah, and then I thought but they told me nothing with grass and nothing with the dirt. They have to have a paved lot. So that's the first thing I thought of, was across from Anthem down there, and there's no hydrant on that end.
There's one hydrant right around the corner on Summit there, it's that high, it's been a pain for plowing forever. You know what I'm talking about? Boy,
Yes.
that last time, make that right turn,
Yep.
there's one hydrant there, if that does you any good or not, I don't know.
I don't want to block off, we'd have to block off Summit and run the hose all the way down and across. Blocking off one of those main streets coming off of Summit there, going to the cemetery and everything. I don't think that would be, if we can use that one at the top of New Jersey, it's out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. And
The other one, I guess I didn't really think of till literally just a second. Are there any hydrants in the upper part of Hopkins Park that would be active that would work? Because you have the whole roads and everything's coming downhill.
I'll take a drive up there and look.
Okay.
Anything else for me? Thank you very much.
I'll go back to my spot here now again. Thank all the fire departments. I want to thank everybody involved with the cemetery cleanup last week, all the volunteers, Public Works Department, Cemetery Board, all, many volunteers, too many, I don't know, I'll probably miss some people, I don't mention any names, but all, they know who they are, I thank them for coming up there. All the folks that put the flowers down, on Main Street, or got the pots ready to go, the flowers. I want to thank all those folks for volunteering. Well, Anthony, come on back here. One more thing, hold on, I'll make one there. Thank everybody. Also, I need to have a meeting with the fire department chief. I need 6 people for the kitty parade. So either if Ty could, I don't think, you know, if you
I have
have
nobody, I'll be on
you
3
have
hours.
you have nobody, so at least 6 people to run that kitty parade, plus some more extra people. Whoever want to volunteer, I'm not gonna chase anybody, I'm gonna decline anybody else. At least I want guarantee of for 4 races, and then the one announcer is 5, and then an extra one.
So, just, Mr. Mayor, if it would be helpful, I would be willing to put up a volunteer sign-up sheet in the Concerned Citizens group to see if we can get community members that would commit to those hours.
Commit to it, and if, plus I need 6 guarantees from you, not knowing yet.
Yep.
But if I have enough volunteers, I can release some from the fire department, okay? Then you might be less than 6, once I know any other volunteers from the community.
I will do my best. I can't promise anything, but I will do my best to try to get approved.
I'm only saying this, I can't depend every year on volunteers from the community. I don't have a reg board to say, do it. So I'm kinda like saying, right now, fire department, I need your help. You're the only ones, other than we don't have a board, I have a water light board, can have them do it. Okay?
I will bring it up on meeting on Monday.
You got the intercom and all, we did it last year, okay?
Yep.
Kinda like the same thing last year, all right?
Maybe we should volunteer Kyle.
That might work.
I'm not gonna refuse, volunteer help either. But, right?
Yeah.
So, this year volunteer list on Facebook, if I can get something within the next 2 weeks, I will get back to you 2 weeks before the 4th, if it, needs to be, okay? I need you anyway on the intercom system, I need the intercom system. All right? I know, you're on the phone band, I know, but, or somebody on that intercom system, maybe Mark again, all right? So that's good. Planning meeting, kind of get back in 2 weeks prior to the 4th, yeah. And I want, just came up to mind, the parking lot over there on West Avenue. I see a satellite toilet way in the one corner. And what is that all about, anybody know?
Yes, the DNR, DOT, uses that lot for, their training programs, and they requested permission to put it there. And I spoke with Sam, and he said that they've done it every year.
Do they pay for it then?
Yes, they pay for it.
Well, again, aren't they subject to that policy? And it should be a handicap. It should be a handicap. Right?
Well, it's for people who are taking their,
CDL.
CDL, so I don't know that the,
Well, handicapped people take care of that.
Okay,
Get
I
driver
will-
license too.
isn't that on the DOT though?
Well, I mean, the requirement is if you have a need for a public accessible toilet, the first one has to be an ADA compliant toilet.
Right, it's not ours.
Correct.
So they need to
Right.
be told,
But they
That's what
have,
I mean though, it's on the DOT.
yeah,
that
the
they-
state of Minnesota has the need to have a toilet there, so they should know that the first one needs to be an ADA compliant one.
so they need to upgrade that one. That's what I'm saying here, okay?
Yep.
Plus, I didn't know if that was one of our, thanks
No.
Anthony, bye-bye.
Bye, Anthony.
Thank you.
I want to know if it was something to do with the city, no, I know, and even though it's theirs, they need to
I'll reach out to them,
follow the
or
rules.
Sam, one of us will.
All right. Okay, I'm finished. You want the flowers put in?
Yep, we got them done on Thursday.
Pay close attention to that. Good, thank you everybody involved with that.
The flowers, so we chose blue and red, and we are going to be going to the Women's Auxiliary to get flags to put in there around the 3rd and 4th of July as well, in the planters.
Okay, good. Thank everybody involved. I'd like to have community involvement, it's great. All right, chief is done, Brian Lindsay's done, police chief, high teacher.
Good evening, Mayor Council. A couple items, just the last couple weeks has been kind of hectic. I apologize in the last council meeting, but as you saw in the news, in my 28-year career here, the last 2 weeks have probably been the busiest with the most serious call we've ever had in Gilbert. Just in the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 second-degree assaults. either involving a firearm or a knife. We've made arrests in both those cases. Ironically, they both occurred at rental properties. And I know I've spoken about rental properties before. We made the second largest methamphetamine bust in Gilbert last Saturday night. Over 2 pounds of methamphetamine at a rental property. So you're kind of seeing a trend here of the problem we're dealing with is rental properties. And it's becoming an issue. I mean, we usually have maybe 1 second-degree assault a year, and we've already got 3 for the year, plus a drive-by shooting, so, which is also a rental property. So that is one thing that I've been trying to work with the property owners on having some expectations. I don't know how far it's gonna go, but just talking about that we will start taking every bit of enforcement action against the owners if there's a disorderly house or there's issues like that. So we're trying to get out ahead of it. Again, as it concerns our rental properties. So if you take our last 37 search warrants for methamphetamine, 33 have been rental properties. And it's less than 10% of our properties. So when you look at that, it's quite the issue. So secondly, and keep in mind, it's 37 methamphetamine search warrants has been over the last several years. So secondly, yeah, just talking about the firearm. I'm trying to put a little program together with our body cameras and squad cameras to try to give the council a little bit of a look at what happened, how fast things progressed. I apologize to the council. I don't think I sent a message out until 11 o'clock at night. I was in communication with the mayor most of the evening, but I didn't really get a chance to really send a good message out to the council. And in the future, I'll try to have my administrative assistant push something out, just kind of let things go. I just want everybody to know that we lucked out in a couple ways. Number one, we were the first fire today. If Two Harbors would have started burning 3 hours earlier, we might have had a different situation because we had 5 dedicated water bombers for helicopters dropping water. And we punched a fire line in with a D6 cat, a double wide blade. And if you take a walk on the backside, you can walk down that trail and you'll see where they cut into it. And that was a big savings. However, what's ironic is the J5s on the ATV trail were actually, the fire was jumping almost 150 yards with that wind and dropping down and putting fires. I was pretty impressed. If you go on that ATV trail, you'll see where some spot fires started. I do want to compliment Anthony. It was his first fire, big one. I was able to get up on top of the mine dump with binoculars, and anytime I needed a fire truck for structural protection, we had it. Do I feel that this town was in danger at any point in time? Other than the plumbing business and potentially embers laying on top of the holiday station, those were our 2 main issues. We had ladder trucks at the holiday station. I was able to, if there was any embers that were coming, we were able to knock it down. So I feel like there was no structures. I really feel that the local fire department's job was to deal with structural protection. That was it. The DNR, I felt, did a pretty good job, just with the air resources. Once the Canadian firefighters came in, they laid over 2,200 feet of fire hose to the woods, and were able to pump almost 2,000 gallons a minute out on the fire, just keeping it going to the J5. So once we started putting drop tanks on the highway, plus we had a couple hydrants, I really had very few concerns about any structures burning. Now, if that would have been coming out of the northwest, we would have been in trouble, and I think we would have lost at least a half dozen hoses. We would have never stopped it. And I'll provide body cam video. When the fires first started, within 7 minutes of the fire starting, the fire, I've never seen a fire crown before, you probably heard about them. That fire ran 150 yards in probably 20 seconds over the treetops before it dropped down. So it was a little hairy for a while, but I truly believe as long as we left out the wind and having air resources, that's what really helped us. But I truly believe that with the way the winds were, there was no real structures, and I did not consider any time evacuating any part of the town other than the 2 holiday station and the plumbing business. Those are only 2 that could potentially have some issues. Now, if that wind would have changed, we probably would have to do a mass evacuation. So, but we were talking about cutting stuff back. There's a program called Firewise. I'll be looking into it. They approached us a couple of years ago. Most cities, including White Lakes, kind of blew it all off. Well, until you have a fire that comes running across your city, you have a little different approach. What is it? Try to cut trees back from properties. And those places up on Michigan, they would have burned without a doubt if that fire would have jumped. So we lucked out. Anytime I asked for resources for structural protection, Anthony provided within 5 minutes. So I felt we had a pretty good handle on things. So That's all I have, but I will try to put together some video and photographs of how the fire progressed to kind of see what it was dealing with, so it's pretty impressive.
Me and Ty were in communication all the time. If we were in danger, in fact, me and Michelle, we put some barriers in the pickup and we brought them up to you. And so we were in contact, and we never mentioned any danger, immediate danger. We're close to it, but the wind helped.
And one problem, the water plant did a good job, at one point, I think we were pulling almost 4,000 gallons a minute off the hydrants. Unfortunately, our pump's going to replace it 250 gallons a minute. So, did I think we were going to use 800,000 gallons of water? I didn't think so. But if you notice, trucks were picking up down by Oregon Court off that pump. We were trying to get water off of. We had 2 trucks drawing off of the North Tower, and we were losing pressure pretty fast. So we had 4 water trucks that were hauling water from Oregon off the low tank, and that was able to keep things pretty well maintained. So, and like I said, we only needed water for about a lot of water for about 45 minutes. So we were super good. So.
Again, thank you for and the fire, police department was involved lots there. The city crew was out, put the barriers up that all that was needed, and some of them were fire department, like Sam had to join the fire department. So everybody, even Michelle in the office and staff here was answering phone calls, Lynn and Marianne.
Yeah, actually, if I could add, I thought was really interesting is we had quite a few phone calls from volunteers. In particular, I had a group of 3 or 4 maybe that were firefighters, I think in Tower, Babbitt area. And they were coming here to go golfing and they saw what was happening and they wanted to come help. We had so many people more than willing, even just stopped here to see whatever they can do to come help. And that was great.
So, just some general comments about the process and emergency response. First of all, Ty, thank you. Absolutely earned your salary that day in doing all the things and coordinating it. I think whenever I've been involved in larger scale emergency response, it's always been beneficial to a couple of weeks afterwards sit back and have a dedicated kind of review of that response in all of the departments that responded to it to see where there are areas of improvement. I think while I think communication was really good, I think that's one of the areas that I think looking back we could have probably done a slightly better job in terms of communicating to the public what was going on, to stay out of the area. I had heard that there were some people that maybe got close to barricades and stuff like that, and I think that's an area where office staff could possibly help out to get those messages out.
Yeah, honestly, we hadn't even heard anything, and to be honest with you, I actually was listening to a call, and I heard from the moment Ty mentioned it, and I'm telling you, it wasn't even 2 minutes that it jumped. I mean, everybody sprung into action so fast.
Yeah, so, and I don't want to armchair quarterback, because
Right.
that's not my role, but I think it would be a good idea to call all those people together, even if it's for a quick hour meeting to
Like a
talk
debrief.
through a debrief
Right.
of like what worked well, what didn't, what had room for improvement. Because thank God we only have these types of situations happen once in several years, but it's always good to use these examples to update our emergency response plan so that we can be ready for the next time. So that would be my one suggestion.
So just to touch on a couple of points, number one, I'm not sure how many councilors received messages. We did, we're fortunate to have a very strong emergency management within St. Louis County. I activated immediately, we got a truck up here, a command truck. I don't know how many councilors received it, but we sent an emergency message out onto every cell phone. It's supposed to go to every cell phone carrier in the area, usually within 10 miles. I heard mixed reviews on who got it and who didn't. I'm not sure who all got it, but that's something I have to do some survey on to see how many people received it, how many did not, because I think there's some flaws within the system. We kind of rely on that very heavily, and I think we sent a message out with the fire, no evacuation time, but be ready, and whatever else. So that's one thing that we're looking at. And yes, we do have a debrief. We always do a debrief on it. Once we get some facts, but I'll actually be meeting with the St. Louis County Emergency Management along with the DNR and the Forest Service. Anytime you bring all those agencies in, they're all doing their own little things. So there were some issues that we really identified that were a problem, and we're gonna try to address that. So we will be doing that in the next couple of weeks, so. That's all.
Okay, thanks again, Ty. That's it.
So one thing about those rental properties, you know, you were saying, would it be helpful, and I mentioned this 10 years ago, if the landlords were required to record who lives there at the time, would that be helpful to you? Because you may know a person,
Yes.
knowing where they live, you may keep an extra eye on that property. And I
Yes.
wanted to try to get this done 10 years ago, if you remember.
Well, we got ran out of the council chambers, remember that?
I remember that, but at that time, I also mentioned, why don't we just do the minimum, which is just to have the landlords just register who's living there. It doesn't cost them anything, all it does is tell the office who's living in their rental property.
And one of our problem properties is the owner lives in California. He has never seen the house.
But if he could find out who's living there,
Yeah,
report it
absolutely,
to the office.
absolutely, absolutely.
I think we know because they come and they change the bill into their name, so we know the name of the people that are usually living in the rental property.
So are the police aware of it then?
We do not, it's considered private data in certain situations, we do not have access to it.
But I mean, we had
Yes, if there's an ordinance.
an ordinance and then they were required to do it, you know.
One of the commonly used tools by a lot of cities is to have a rental ordinance in which all landlords, regardless of size of property, need to register a tenant with the city. That starts a process that also helps facilitate utility billing, which is very helpful for us. But also, in that process, we can require that information be passed on to that we can pass it on to other.
Fire protection also, so you know how many people are in that building
Yeah,
too, you know?
and the other piece that I think we should consider when we look at changing an ordinance is, I can guarantee that if you take all of the single-family home rental properties, we will find several of them who do not meet basic health department and fire department state safety standards. Fire alarms in properties within certain feet of every bedroom. Carbon monoxide detectors. They're very common types of things. We do have the ability as a city to require certain basic code compliance.
And that was part of the argument we had 10 years ago, Ty, because we said, well, if you're gonna do it for the rentals, let's have everybody be required to have fire alarms. That was the argument against that. You know, you don't just pick on the landlords, let everybody then be required.
It gets dicey when you get into, a residential home that's a landlord occupied or an owner occupied home.
Right.
We can't make those types of requirements.
No?
How do we manage how many people live in a house even if it's not a rental? I mean, we don't have that. How do we manage that kind of information?
Well, so when I've been working on the short-term rental agreement stuff, the Airbnb, VVRO stuff, so the health department does have some requirements of how many people can be in a bedroom, for example, to set some of the occupancy requirements for a home. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to be leaning on that. Unfortunately, the health department does not have a system set up to do inspections for standard long-term rentals. So, but we could copy some of that language. The challenge is going to be, we don't have an inspection process or an inspector to help us. So that's going to have to be part of any ordinance that we consider is what is that compliance, that code compliance from an inspection standpoint.
Right, but Bob's point about trying to know how many people live in the building if there's a fire or something, we don't have that information for any building, for any home. And how would we manage that information?
So if you just did the minimum and just required them to report the person's name and how many occupants are in there, that's all, leave it at that, start with that, if that would help the police in determining where the problem areas are.
So in any form that you, and we could probably work on this in a committee separately from this,
Yes.
but you can basically say, how many bedrooms are in the home? There's a way that you can define a bedroom, and you could say, okay, the average is going to be 2 people per bedroom, or 1 person per, whatever, you can calculate how many people are allowed in the home, and by ordinance, you can say a rental property can only have this many occupants based on how that property is specified. Those are all things that we can discuss and debate, but there are mechanisms, and there's a lot of past precedents in dealing with rental properties, how to manage that.
Right, that's why I didn't want to get too involved with it. I just wanted to do just the minimum of just requiring people to report who the person is that's renting from them and how many people occupy.
Do you think that would be helpful if we came up with like an ordinance for like all the rental properties in town with like a name, the number of occupants, just something basic? Would that help you?
Yeah, I think if we can come up with it's legal and we can do it, or at least we know who the main renters are, so we have a little bit of an idea there. The other thing too is after hours, a lot of times we can't get a hold of a landlord, and we have a building that did a search warrant on last weekend, and it's still not secured. And I don't know if it will get secured too soon. So yeah, if we have some contact information, have some idea, I think it would definitely help us. But yeah, you look at it, like I said, 56% of our disturbances are at our rental properties, of all our calls for disturbances.
So the other thing that we can do is, if we have an ordinance, we can establish that, okay, I've got a home and I want to rent it out. It is a business, it is a commercial venture. So legally, we have, as a city, the right to establish a business license or a rental license for that property. There's a lot of legal precedence that allows us to do that. We just have to define what that is. So if I, example, decide to buy a house here in town and I want to use it as a rental property, we, the city, can say, in order for that to function as a rental property, you must be licensed. And to be licensed, you have to have X, Y, Z information provided to the city. We are fully within our right to do that.
I wasn't debating any of that information, I'm just saying logistically, how do you manage that within the city?
Yeah, and that would be part of the discussion, is how do we do that within the constraints of our staffing and process and all of that stuff.
Right, that was my question.
It's something we can probably work on in the future instead of wasting time tonight. Because one of the issues is we are seeing it's very easy to purchase a home in town and rent it out. Virginia took care of a lot of their problems because they do inspections, they have certain requirements, and they have to pay a fee. It's a couple $100, I think, to have it inspected and stuff like that. So it's a little more profitable to come to Gilbert because there's not quite the requirements. And it's not just Gilbert, but Wabash, no better, Babbitt, any of those cities do not have it. The bigger cities are the ones that just don't work, but they do have a full-time fire department individual that goes around, does the inspections and everything else. We would have to look and find somebody, or getting somebody trained to do those properties. So, and that's something we can work on in the future. We can work on that this fall, or whatever, so that's fine.
Is that it?
That's all.
Okay, the mayor's report is completed. Next, we'll go to the interim clerk, treasurer Lynn Moore's report.
Okay, I have quite a few things here. I just want to make sure, get them in the order here. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is the hybrid position that we're trying to hire for. We had a discussion with the personnel committee about whether or not that's I'll say a good way to move forward. We're not getting any applicants that meet the criteria for the position that well. And with Public Works being down technically 2 full-time positions, wanted to have a discussion about the best option moving forward. Is it to hire a Public Works person or continue to try to look for someone that's a hybrid position? In theory, the hybrid position sounds like a good idea, but I don't know if people who are looking for a wastewater treatment position, they're looking for a career type thing, and maybe not something that would be between 2 departments. So I just wanted to bring it up here because we haven't had any success in hiring one. Paul, you know, we've had that discussion. Do you have any other input on it?
So the part of the discussion was, so the applicants that we got back for the hybrid position, generally we found several applicants that had the qualifications on the public works side of the equation. They had like CDL licenses or they were partway to certain certifications. But there was a pretty dramatic lack of those certifications on the wastewater water treatment standpoint. And so then we entered into the conversation with both Trudy and Sam about like where is the most needed work, and I think public works side is technically down 1.5 FTE, and the water wastewater is down 0.5 FTE. And so we started talking about an alternate plan that maybe we go for the maintenance 2 position. And have develop a training program or
Apprenticeship.
apprenticeship program that that AFSCME would be agreeable to get, if we can get somebody hired that has the interest in doing water wastewater work, so that we could over a period of time get them to do the hybrid type of role. That was an alternative that we talked about, and Sam basically said that he would be willing to work on that if that's the direction we wanted to go. So that could be, and part of it was just where we are in this talent pool environment right now. It's really, really hard to recruit for the water wastewater type of position. And so rather than leaving the position completely open and hoping that we find the unicorn that we had in the last person that had that position, maybe it might be a better approach to go more straightforwardly looking for the public works position and then have the apprenticeship program get them over to that hybrid role over a period of time. So that's kind of one of the things that we wanted to have a discussion with the council on.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you should hire them and pay them through the utility. And then they can work towards their license. In order to operate these plants, you really don't need a license. You just need to have somebody teach you what to do. But they can work through the years to get their license.
Right. And
But they
that would
should be paid through the utilities. That's where you save money.
So, and that certainly can be an item that we can talk about in the structure of the apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
So whether they, I absolutely, I think the utilities portion should pay for the licensing and the training portion for sure. And then any time that we can get them over there, they should, yeah, I agree.
But not only that, but, if they're working for Public Works, FAIL pays like 700 customers pay into the water and sewer. Mainly for the water or the sewer, but still, we have 700 people contributing to our utilities. So they could help pay for the wages for this person. That's why you list them as a utility worker. And then everybody pays the same, otherwise you're putting a burden on a public works employee on the high taxpayers. If you put it as a utility worker, then the burden is shared amongst the 900 in Gilbert and the 700 in FAIL at a,
So in concept, I do agree with you that we should use that as a mechanism to offset some of that. But remember, we have a full 1.5 FTE in the budget in Public Works right now, so it's not
FTD.
Full-time employee.
Full-time employee. So we have right now in our existing budget, we have 1.5 scheduled to be able to pay, and that individual or individuals is physically not present under the payroll. So it's not like
Well, no, I'm not talking about,
resources.
I'm not talking about this budget, I'm talking about future budgets. I'm talking about where you could eliminate that, what you have in the budget now, and use it in the utilities, and then you're saving the taxpayers in the long run. That's what I'm getting at. It's a savings to the taxpayers. Because then you're eliminating that from the future budget because the utilities is covering the cost.
We're not necessarily talking about the budget necessarily, we're talking about the personnel and where we're gonna.
Exactly right. I'm talking about the personnel especially, because if you get a person that, you know, say is gonna be good in public works, but they have a little college background, so they're gonna be able to understand the chemistry or whatever of the water and sewer, then you have probably a good candidate, because then you'll know they'll be able to grasp what they're doing to work in utilities also. That's what I would recommend. Somebody with a little college background, so you know they're capable of understanding what they're doing, and they are able to do the public works part, which is basically cutting grass and plowing snow.
I don't know if they're gonna find someone with a college.
Well, I'm just saying, if there was one that maybe
I mean,
a couple years of college.
looking through some of the candidates that were more skewed towards the public works, we did have some candidates that fit
Fit
that description. So I think it's possible, I do.
Yeah.
And that's why my recommendation from a personnel standpoint was for us to change, kind of switch gears and go, instead of going to hire for the hybrid position right now, repost it as a maintenance 2 and work with Sam and the collective bargaining agreement to come up with that apprenticeship program that would eventually potentially move them over to the hybrid position, which is more valuable for us as a city.
But I would pay them right through utilities, and if you post them as a 2, maintenance 2, pay out of utilities.
Wherever they work, we can assign their wages. I have talked to Sam today about it. He works in public works, for electric, he works for wastewater, he works for water. His salary should really technically be split 4 ways every
Exactly right, and
time.
I've said this 10 years ago to the clerk at that time.
Well, I wasn't
Even you
here.
guys, whatever you do, anything utilities, you should be paid out of the utilities.
Absolutely, and
Yep.
that has been discussed, and I'm trying to get that in place.
Yep.
And so, in the end, a quarter of Sam's salary should be in public works, and the rest should go to utilities, because he does all of those things every day.
There you go.
So
I tried to do
that's-
this 10 years ago, yeah.
So my point to you is that I'm not worried about where the money is going to be budgeted. Wherever someone works is where that expense should go, regardless of what position they're in. If I go and I work for 3 days for water, my salary should for 3 days be charged to the utilities for water.
That might be an accounting issue though, so you almost have to say 3/4 is gonna go here, 1/4 is gonna come from.
It's actual
taxes.
time. You can do actual
Well,
time, or
if you can do it in the office, actual time, it's, you know, good for you, but you're taking a burden, like in the wintertime, you know, there's gonna be sometimes it doesn't even snow, believe it or not, here, where they're gonna be in the utilities full-time, you know, learning the trade, whatever, and they won't be doing any public works. You
Okay,
know,
well,
if you're,
that's kind of not what we're trying to decide. We're just trying to decide.
So if I might make a suggestion, I do agree with you on what you're saying, but I think we have 2 separate issues. One is, I would like us to agree to repost as the maintenance 2 position so that we can get that position filled. B, work with the collective bargaining union and also Sam to come up with the apprenticeship. And then the third piece is, as part of the budget process, I think if that's what we want to do with our various employees is take more of their salaries and have them financed through the utilities, I think that's part of the budget process. And I don't disagree with it. I think that we should come up for a formula and to be able to do that. With anybody that touches utilities, we should be able to take a portion of their pay and have it come out of the utility fund.
for sure.
So,
But that was just on the line of hiring them right through the utilities, and then, you know, whatever percentage they put. Actually, my idea was all of it would be on the utility side, you know, and then as they gradually learn the water, like, it would stay the same, but you could break it down a percentage.
So with that in context, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we repost the open position as a maintenance 2 so that we can get that process moving forward. And then after that, I'll follow up with a motion to approve for moving forward for an apprentice.
So what is the maintenance to entail? Just grass cutting? Was it like what Tim was doing here?
It's the standard entry public works position. I don't know how else to describe it.
Motion by Councilor Skrillex to repost the hiring that we had for hybrid to a maintenance 2 position.
That job description maintenance too, though, if I recall Tim's resume or his job description, it pretty much just entailed working in the here and snow plowing. There wasn't any other thing.
So,
I'll second that motion for discussion.
Yeah,
the other piece of it is, I think the last job description that we have is several years old. So as part of the hiring process, we would naturally need to refresh the job description.
Right.
And that's something that Lynn and I can definitely work on, as long as it fits the parameters of what the collective bargaining agreement has.
Well, it has to come back to council too, if you're changing anything.
Okay. Then we should probably start that work first.
because the hybrid positions now, as they stand, is paid totally through the utilities.
No, it was, no.
The conversation we had a little while ago, we have them stated, we have budgeted in our levy of for this year or next year, a maintenance 2 position, not a hybrid position.
Yeah, but-
We have enough money that we levy for this year and next year
No,
for a
Not next
maintenance
year.
2,
not
yes,
next year.
yes. We already,
We didn't budget for next year yet.
well, for this year, a maintenance 2 person, yes, which will carry on to next year. As even at a 0 levy, it would still carry on in the budget. Even if we go 0 for next year, it's still in there. And we've not filled
No, it
it.
isn't.
Yeah, it is.
You'd have to keep it in there or put it back.
That's right, if you're leaving at 3 million now for this year, 3 million for next year, even at 0, it's still in there.
Well, if you're taking out a position, you're reducing it by about 100 grand.
He's not saying that, though, he's saying leaving it in there. It would still be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, not leaving it in there and budgeting
Well,
differently.
not leaving it in there, then you're gonna be a minus
Reducing your
levy.
levy, reducing your levy then.
Well, we're not reducing our levy.
Why is that?
Because we need that person, and then we need that maintenance 2 person. And
That's
we
okay.
can go for a hybrid with the next position when Judy is ready to
Retired.
go. Right. And that's I feel that we need that position filled.
There's monies budgeted in the utilities for
We have
4
money
people,
there.
4 people working in the utilities.
Let's the council know that the money is.
Budgeted money there
And
for
hopefully
the
we
fees,
pass that
for
tonight.
the fees, 4 people in the utilities.
Any more discussion from anyone else?
So I know that when we did some of the personnel, there was 24, 25 applicants. We limited approximately 20 of them. Because they didn't have CDL licenses. 4 or 5 of them had CDL licenses, so they were already ready to work in public works. So what's the difference between hiring a hybrid and calling one of those people in to say, okay, we're gonna hire you as a hybrid, but you're gonna be working in public works? What's the difference?
The difference is really the compensation rate that they start out with. So the maintenance 2 is a lower level than the hybrid position in terms of wages. And so that's where.
But they're gonna be being trained, obviously, in that.
Potentially, so it is going to be dependent upon who the candidate and who would accept, be eventually hired.
But
There
that's a
is,
position that they applied for. They didn't apply for public works, they applied for the hybrid position.
The
correct,
motion was to repost.
correct, but, in reviewing it, and this is just me as a manager, if you have a job posted and you have a list of requirements and you can't meet at least 75% of them at the time of application, they are not a candidate that you should consider, because they're never going to meet all of your expectations. And so that was the reason why we rejected all of the applicants at this point. Now, if we were to repost as a maintenance 2 and allow those 5 or 6 candidates to come and reapply as a maintenance 2, they would fulfill all of those requirements, job requirements, and then we can start interviewing them because they'd be qualified for it.
Well, that would depend on what job requirements you have for them. Maybe they have a CDL license, but they don't have anything else. Maybe some of them went to a trade school and have a CDL license, or was in a training program, which means that they would all be capable of learning what the wastewater treatment people would be doing. So you hire them as a hybrid,
Yes.
paying them on utility money and not taxpayer money, because you have to raise the levy to pay them. Maybe not this year, but next year for sure, to pay that $100,000 that they're gonna get in compensation with benefits, etc. So now that you spread that out over all the utility people, and it's a much less burden on the regular taxpayer. And then you have your hybrid position filled, which means that that person can't learn that, and it's easy for that person to go and drive a truck.
But here, I want to explain. So here's the fallacy in that argument. So if we have, let's say just for easy math, we have in the hybrid position, we have 5 requirements for the public works side, we have 5 requirements for the.
We're gonna go a little bit longer, 1 minute on this, 2 more minutes on this subject, okay?
I appreciate that. If we have 5 requirements for public works and 5 requirements for wastewater, water, and you have a pool of applicants, and they only have qualifications in the public works side, by definition, you only have less than 50% of the total requirements for the job. Why would we ever hire somebody that is not qualified for a job? That's why I'm arguing that we change the job position to something where somebody would be qualified for, that we would be able to recruit and hire for, and then through an apprenticeship program, move them over a period of time, if they so choose, to get to the higher wage job. It saves us money, and at the same time allows us to get work done in an area that we need to get work done.
I think if we use some of our summer help in areas too, we could free up some of the public works people to do the things that they could be doing instead of just cutting grass. But I also think that a person, when you say truly you're going to retire, we are going to be looking for that same type of person. And now you're going to be looking for somebody in that position. And if you can't get anybody now, what things you can get them later.
Because the position would just be in wastewater, which is more of a career type path and not.
Or should we offer this as a career type path and offer them as just wastewater then? To fill that?
Ask your question again, I'm sorry.
You said it's because it's a career path, they're going to be working on one thing. So should we hire somebody to work just in wastewater and not have them as a hybrid?
Absolutely. We should hire public works because they're the ones short, and then hire for wastewater. That's
But
my
wastewater,
opinion.
wastewater is short too.
They're not as short as public works.
Okay,
And we asked Trudy this question.
Yeah, and
We
Trudy
did.
actually agreed, this is the direction we should go.
all right. The motion was to hire a maintenance 2 person on one part only on. It's not gonna affect the levy because it's already been budgeted for, maintenance 2 person. We are short 1 person and we have not filled that person with a hybrid or anybody. So we have, and that would carry over to next year, even if we didn't add on if we added another person on next year, then it will affect the levy. But keeping the same person here will not add on to that levy next year. If we add another person on next year, that will affect the
Right.
levy for next year. But not doing this today will not affect this levy we're working on, or next year, if we don't do any hiring. But if we do any more hiring, other than tonight, if we do it, then it'll affect, yes, okay? All right, we had the motion to change our posting from a hybrid to a maintenance 2 position, and I seconded that motion and call the vote after all kinds of discussion here. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Oh, I have to have a roll call vote. Did you say yes?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried 3-2. Councilor Skirvik, Red Pitting, Mayor Albertson voting yes, voting no. Councilor Bertocci and Councilor Fogden, motion carries 3-2.
That actually covers new business, letter A, so.
Yeah, it's on my list, so I went over it. Okay.
There's overlap, so those 2 things overlap, okay?
Yep. We have, Sam talked to, CC Winger about the pavilion on the campground. He does not have a physical estimate, he had a text message from them for now. just asking what it would cost, and they said for tear off disposal of what they take off and replacing the shingles with Atlas Class 3 shingles would be $4,750. Wanted to make you aware of it.
Tailgate is $4,700.
For the pavilion at the,
Oh, the roof.
Roofing.
at the
Okay,
campground.
Shingles.
Okay, well,
I think if we can get a formal estimate, we can talk about it, but text message is not an estimate.
No, but
There's
we,
lots of roofers out there too.
I mean, it's under $5,000, I don't know, I mean, technically best practices, we should get more than one, but if it's under $25,000, we don't technically have to. But I would like to see a formal written estimate before we even move forward.
okay, we do a lot of written estimates and then we go back and
I don't know
forth.
if they're professional roofers either, that's not their specialty, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
did we do the brush hog?
No, not yet. Ken? I asked Sam more about the brush hog. He said we had one 3 years ago. He can't get the parts to fix it. They don't make them anymore. The reason that he is asking about the brush hog is that there's tall brush under the power lines and around the poles, and in the sewer plant around the pond, and then at the campground. Minnesota Power does not do it. And he said because they haven't done it for a couple of years, there are now trees 4 foot high that are growing around. He said we could hire it out. We could rent a brush hog, but if we rent it for a week and it rains, we pay for the brush hog anyway. If we rent it and then we have cemetery-ish things happen or other emergencies, then they can't use it. They wouldn't be able to use it for the whole week. So that's the reason that he was asking for the brush hog.
The price of that again was
Um,
$4,500?
11,000.
$11,000?
Is it in their budget?
Rudy, I don't know. They don't budget for anything. Nobody has budgeted for any extras over the years. He asked Mike about budgeting for
That's
things.
not true, that's not true.
He asked
There's been
Mike,
capital improvements in there for many years.
was there any last year?
I don't know, I haven't seen the budget.
Well,
That's what she's saying.
that's what I'm saying, that it's not in the budget over the last couple of years because he had asked Mike about capital outlay things and he said, we're not entertaining those kinds of things.
My opinion is I don't think, I know we started summer and I think we could hold off and put that on the budget for next year.
There's, they've always hired tree service too, I don't know why the tree service wouldn't do
I
that.
think
Yeah,
we may add over to next year.
That's where I'm inclined to go to, rather than investing in capital that's only gonna be used a couple of times a year. This is a situation where contracting a tree removal service is gonna be faster, easier,
Yeah, more professional.
insured,
Yep.
done on a faster timeline. Just look at how quickly the cemetery project got done. You
It's
know,
fine. I will let Sam know that he should contract that out.
Well, here's another thought also. We have a bunch of stumps we gotta do in town that are not done. And he contracts that out, he'll be coming with that. And we don't have equipment for that, he contract that out. Maybe this same person can take care of these areas that he has in question for this brush hog job. They're not stump removal, but they're,
Right.
maybe this person that does that can do that as well. Have both jobs done, stump removals and
They might have a stump grinder.
a bush hog thing to do these problems that he's
Yeah.
talked about. Kill 2 birds at one time is what I'm getting at,
Right.
okay? All right.
He also gave me information about replacing one hydrant, 2 curb stops, and a 6-inch main valve. He said the replacement would be between $14,000 and $20,000. The city would supply the hydrant. And 2EZ or Zig's main line, he doesn't know what they're called right now, would be the one to do it.
Used to be, formerly known as Gilbert Stop.
I know, and it's, yeah, I know.
And that,
That's,
And the money comes out of the utility system. So I guess we have to do it if he thinks it needs to be done.
so there was one
one
hydrant?
one hydrant, 2 curb stops, and a 6-inch main valve.
Where's it at?
I did not, I think he told me, but I don't remember where he said it was.
Was that the one that was close to the fire, the house fire that was on, Wisconsin?
I'm not sure.
Um,
I think just.
Because so that hydrant is, it's one of the old style ones that has just two 2.5-inch connections. And there isn't a, I don't know if it's a 5 or 6 inch connection. So wasn't used in that fire because it's so old that it's not in the fire department's map. So they don't even actually see it. So it's on a corner where there's, if you drive down there by that house, you can see that if that fire hydrant is not being used, the next closest fire hydrants are on one street over or one street up. So it leaves that corner without fire protection because you can't hook up our new truck to that hydrant.
I can't believe we're at this point, 2026, and this has not been addressed long before now.
Yeah. Should be done.
Yeah.
Do they have a hydrant in the yard?
That's what they,
Yeah.
we have the hydrant.
Do it.
Should have been addressed
Yeah.
long before
Yeah.
now, here we are dealing with it, and we have to deal with it.
Yep.
Just get it done, but doggone it, this could have been a big
Were-
problem a long time ago.
Were there any other hydrants in town that were on that? Because I did ask Sam to go through and identify that there were any others that were in that same condition.
He did not tell me that, he just said this was one that, we have the hydrant that we could replace the one that's there.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
We don't know where it's at yet.
I sent him a text to ask him, but I will
So
let him know that.
I'm having a disconnect here. Like when Sam brings this stuff up,
Mhm.
why doesn't he give it to you in written form? Like he's telling you, and then you're having to like write it down. But if this is stuff that he needs, this needs to be more formal, not just like, hey Lynn, I need 20 grand.
Well, a lot of times it is,
Well, that has to stop. Like we need stuff on paper to say, hey, this is where it is. This is what's gonna go on. Like this, like I have no idea what he's asking for. He needs $20,000 for a hydrant, a 6-inch main, and like
2
Where?
curb stops.
where?
Yeah, and I mean, I think
Waiver.
we're guessing, I think I know where this is, but that should be,
Sure.
like, the property address should be critical information.
All
in there.
right, I will make sure that I put that on the list of things to ask him when he tells me things and ask him to give it to me for me.
They sound like they need to get done. It's just, I don't know where these things are. You don't know where they are. He
Right.
probably does know, and it would just be easier to say, hey, give this to the council. Like, this is where it is. This is what we have going on.
And that's one of those very basic, kind of like, even if just like a half-sheet project summary of like, this is what we need, describing this out.
Yep.
This is where it's at, this is how it will affect the neighborhood. That's the absolute most basic. We require that of somebody that's asking for a land use permit. Like, we need descriptions of what that is before we can approve it. I don't disagree. We need to make these improvements, they're critical, but we need to know where they are too.
I'm assuming this is not an urgent thing.
No, we could discuss it next time, I'm sure.
All right.
The other item that was on the agenda for last time was the tailgate on the dump truck,
Which dump truck?
the old one.
The one we're trying to sell?
We're trying to sell a dump truck?
Well, we
The
got
one in the
3
yard?
dump trucks.
That's the one in the yard?
Yeah.
No, I don't
I think I asked that at the last meeting.
You asked what?
Which dump truck?
Yeah.
I don't recall which dump truck.
I don't think we're gonna be fixing anything we're selling.
We got 2 dump trucks. We have 2
Bob says
dump
we
trucks.
have 3.
The third one is sitting in the yard.
So there's the one that's.
It's never been run for a year.
All right, I gave it to you in the last packet, I did not put it in this packet, I will get more information on the dump truck.
It's not the new dump truck.
It is not the new dump truck.
It does say the old one. Which
Which old?
Yeah, we have no dump truck.
You just said there's two, so we have one old one and one new one, then it would be the old
No,
one.
there's 3 trucks. There's a new one and 2 old ones. Which one of the old ones
Okay,
are they doing the tailgate?
well, you said one hasn't run for a year, so I would assume it's not the one that hasn't run for a year.
Maybe they're trying to sell it and fix in the gate so it sells.
They can't sell anything unless they get your approval.
Well,
Well, what the council's trying to say, we're not gonna fix an old
I
truck
understand.
that we're selling.
And that would be an example of, like, we just need more information. If it's an old dump truck that is running,
I understand.
we need to know, okay, how old is this truck? Do we want to make an investment in this truck? Is it something that stops us from doing something that we need to do right now?
and is it still usable?
Is it still
Fixing it
usable,
For
right?
what reason?
That's
To use
that's
that
table
what?
stakes
Yeah.
information that
Right.
we need to be able to make a
I
decision.
would like it if Sam could come to the meeting when he has things that he wants to add on here, so that he could explain to you
He
these
can
things.
just write it out and explain it to us. You
Yes,
know,
but then you
we don't
always have
wanna pay
another
them overtime to come to these meetings. We did this for so many years. and
Okay,
it's
can we
just
talk
a-
about the capital asset policy?
Did we talk about the audit update? I think we're good on that.
Still in the same spot, they're working through things, they have not sent me anything that they've requested,
Okay.
so I'm assuming they're still in the process of working through it. This capital asset policy is from Abdo. They said that we don't have a capital asset policy. They'd like to see us have one. You can let me know if you want to have a capital asset policy. It just makes things easier for the audit. If you don't,
Does it cost money?
no, it's our policy. You adopted it as our policy.
Why not?
So essentially from my read was the asset pocket policy really revolved around the value of $5,000,
Yes.
right? If there was a change in value, which that is consistent with our charter.
Yep.
And so I guess the one question that I would have is, from your perspective, administrating and kind of taking care of those assets, how would this help you versus right now, right? Just give us some basic examples so we can have some context.
So basically, this tells you, if you're gonna put up a fence, then this is what happens. If this is gonna be a septic system, if it's a trail, it gives you guidelines on how you go about categorizing it and where you put it in the general ledger. Do I expense it, or do I use it as a capital project?
Okay.
So when at the end of the year, when the audit goes through, then they know already, oh, it meets these criteria, this is how we're gonna handle it. We're gonna handle it as an asset, or we're gonna handle it as an expense.
Okay. So what I hear you saying, please correct me if I'm misinterpreting, this is a tool that helps you categorize so that we can get our accounting proper for audit purposes.
Absolutely.
We know where to put things.
Yes.
So it's a tool that you would find to be helpful.
We've just had way too many people come through that didn't know where to put anything.
It's a guideline
Absolutely.
that says this is how you're gonna do it. It's just like saying our wages are gonna get posted to the wages account.
Make a motion to, go ahead and adopt the capital asset policy.
I second.
Mayor's moved up the chair to adopt the capital asset program, and seconded by Council Skrillex. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Chair goes back to the mayor.
Lynn, Castillo?
We already did that, okay.
Still the utility bill, what do I want to do with that?
The what?
Still the C.
Utility, okay, so this is a person who has, Hannah gave me a list of their, utility bill, and they're very behind, but this particular resident is on oxygen. And, if we shut him off, then he calls the Attorney General, and then we get required to reconnect. So she wants to know what it is that we should be doing.
Hannah wants to know.
Yeah, I mean, we can disconnect, but then the Attorney General calls, says reconnect, so we're just in this
Well, you talk about electricity for that, you can shut the water off.
Is this a rent, is he a rental? Can we put that on his
No,
taxes?
it's not a rental.
I don't think it is.
It's not a rental, it's a homeowner.
I mean, can we just, when they've gotten so big like they are right now, and obviously we can't shut them off, I mean, we can, but we're gonna have to turn it back on. Can we just put it on his taxes so we still
What do you mean
recover?
you gotta put it back on? I understand the emergency, but what is the law that says we have to turn it back on?
Well, I'm not sure what that law is. She just said that he calls the Attorney General, they call us and they say we're,
Hannah said this?
Hannah said yes, that the Attorney General calls her and says she has to turn it back on.
Oh,
Apparently-
Hannah was told to turn it back on.
Hannah is told she needs to turn it back on because he's on oxygen and doesn't matter how much he owes apparently.
That's what-
Did,
She usually, I was gonna say, we talk to the clerk, she just doesn't turn it back on. She would have asked for advice from them.
Right.
So my understanding of this has been a pretty long history with this homeowner. So has there been any guidance that our city attorney has given on this along the way?
No, I was hoping you'd be here to do this, but
Yeah.
we were
So-
having a conversation tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna recommend that we get some clarity from Brian as to what we can and cannot legally do.
I'm gonna recommend this be put on now.
Special
Next
pool.
meeting, special meeting.
Special
okay?
meeting as,
so who tells her to put it back on?
The Attorney General.
So
State
could we
Attorney.
ask the Attorney General what we can do to, how we
well,
go about it? Maybe they have a way to solve this.
our own city attorney should be able to tell
Yes,
us
I'll talk to her.
where we are in compliance.
That'll be,
Okay.
that'll be on a special
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Next,
The other thing I have on here is under,
number eight, we got one on number eight. 8A,
we have, the other thing I have on my list is under new business, so I will leave it until we get there.
and I want under working session, we had update on a exchanger, windows for the shop, and cemetery project.
Okay. The air exchanger at the campground, I called and, we sent them half the money down. They ordered the materials. He expected that he should get the materials this week. He hoped. And, I mean, I don't have an update today because they did not call him. But they expected to get the materials, he thought, this week, and then it would start probably next week, as long as the materials came in. So they would probably have it done mid to end of June. Of course, that's all based on, material and how their schedule plays out. The windows for the shop have been ordered. I talked to, the Gilbert Glass, is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it would probably take 3 or 4 weeks to get them, and then he would, come up with them in when they arrived.
Have they cleaned the shop yet?
I'm sorry?
Have they cleaned out the shop?
I don't know. I would imagine not. When I talked to Gilbert Glass, he said, I don't think they need to do anything, I don't think it's gonna affect us to put the windows.
It's not a matter of the windows, it's a matter of cleaning the shop. Yeah. Making it look like an
I
office.
understand.
Could you tell them to do that?
Would you like him to not do the cemetery plots that he had to do last week? He did not hang up the banners last week, and Carl, you can attest to the fact that they called and yelled about that. I don't know how that is a priority over hanging the banners and digging cemetery plots and stuff, so you
If we get
need to
this
tell me.
higher, it's gonna help. Another higher that we just advertised.
Exactly. The cemetery project in Sabi that is done, and we did discuss the LEL's contract already in the working session.
All right. But more outside of the agenda items, right?
Just agenda items.
Any more from the council then? Did I miss? Okay. Okay, now we go to check register 5/1 to 5/13 and 5/14, 2026. We gotta okay them to pay the bills. And hopefully everybody got a chance to look at them before the meeting. And have your opposition to any one of those line items available now. Or maybe cleared up before.
That's just the BP builders, that 232,000, is that a second payment or is that
That was the second
a
payment.
A
second
third.
payment? So we
Third
own,
one.
Or no, actually,
was the
it
third.
does say it on there, I think, right? Or didn't it not come down there?
so then the fourth one comes on completion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
this is
all I
the
have.
third.
Third.
I put a dash next to the numbers in the front of it, so where you see 18629-3, that means third payment.
Okay, I'm stepping up the chair, making a motion to approve check register 5/1 to 5/13 and 5/14, 2026.
Mayor, stepping up the chair, make a motion to approve the check registers for 5/1/26, 5/13/26, and 5/14/26. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Chair goes back to the mayor.
Okay, we have time sheets for employees also. Anything on that? Concerns?
My only concern, I don't want to call out the employee for employee privacy purposes, but there is one time sheet that is included in the discussion in the closed session. So just
For further information.
for further information.
Okay.
I just want to make a note. Update you that, my summer help in the office has gone through and, gone through all the time sheets, and so we're getting close, very close to the accruals, so you should see them. I don't want to promise by the next meeting, but the meeting after that, the accruals should be appearing, on the time sheets correctly going forward, and they should then appear on their time, or on their pay stubs as well correctly once they're all fixed. She did go through and update them, so now it's just a process of me going into ADP and fixing them.
Good. Okay.
Which is also a part of what we'll need for the audit for 24 and for 25, so.
I'm going to go ahead and move to approve the timesheets with noted exception for the one staff that we will be talking about in closed session.
I don't know, we even have to make a motion to do anything here. Really, I don't think it's necessary, other than if you had a concern, to act on a concern, but otherwise there's no reason to, we gotta automatically approve this time sheet, otherwise unless there's an issue which was just addressed, we will put on that meeting.
I guess if we sign a signature, that's our approval.
There's no
Yeah,
reason for a motion here at all.
Don't need a motion.
No. You sent an update, we did that already.
Well, we have to make we have to do the change order.
Well, I can bring that up to new business, I can bring it
Okay,
here.
That's fine.
It's over here under, change order under L under new business.
Yeah.
They can take care
Oh,
of
that's
that
what you put
now.
there, okay.
I'll bring
I had
that-
someone help under L.
Bring that over, we'll bring that over, okay? Also, we went through that 54, I'll go over here. 54, 53,979, and counting. You don't know if there's any kitchen work you might bring. All right, but I think this 53,979 we need to address and do. So if the council is ready, make a motion on that.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the change orders as provided.
Moved by Councilor Skrillex. I'll second that motion. Any more discussion? Okay, motion is seconded to approve the change orders to the community center update for additional $53,979 worth of work, as we also went through. Again, no more discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. are done.
C is done.
Okay. Before I get into D, E, and F, and G is done, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go back to D. D and E F are gonna be our final ones. SEH supplemental agreement. I guess we have to agree to that $25,000 or whatever, am I correct on that? That's the one? I'm not buried in here,
It would be in the, I believe it's in the working session.
so. I know some is in the working session, stuff is somehow here. Some is in the regular meeting minutes stuff. $25,000. SEH. Step up the chair, I approve the $25,000 supplemental agreement to SEH, $25,000.
Mayor stepped up the chair and made a motion to approve the supplemental agreement from SEH for $25,000. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Chair goes back to the mayor.
All right. Thank you. We have, alcohol gambling permit for Gilbert Fire Department with their booth in front of Fire Hall during the parade, with their hot, Polish and beer and stuff. And also, is this other one for the Crawl for the Cure thing?
Yes. Yes,
The other one?
yes,
Okay. So we're gonna be providing booze down there?
yes.
And they got, from the League of Minnesota Cities, license or insurance coverage?
Yes, they sent me the quote today, and it's pending their, they have to, let me rephrase it. All the firefighters have to do a training for serving that alcohol, and they will be doing it next Tuesday. So as soon as I hand that to them, it's the same thing every year, they make us do it every year. And so as soon as they get that,
The league is covering the city of Gilbert, actually.
right,
on this, not just the fire department.
right. I
don't know why they didn't ask the bar downtown to extend their license to those areas.
no, I think that's a different situation. That's a different situation.
No?
That's because, yeah, we are doing it, we're funding it, or they are funding it, sorry, and they are doing whatever with the profits. It's
They
different
get
than
the
if they hired
fundraising
somebody else.
benefits of it then.
Right,
So the money goes to the Firemen's Relief
Right.
Association, so any of the other liquor licenses in town can't.
That's, you know.
Right.
No, that is a different point now. The Fire Department Relief Association is not part of us, the city. That's why they went to the league. That's part of the, well, it is kind of part of it.
right, but they're still part of the city. So
Yeah.
they could get a liquor liability from anywhere else, but considering that they're still sort of part of the city, it's much better pricing even for them to go through the league
I've never seen.
and coverage.
The League of Cities is covering liquor sales, unbelievable. Okay, that's not too long.
Oh, yeah, well, right, I understand what you're saying.
I just thought, find somebody else, private, but the League of Cities covering liquor sales. I can't understand that, okay?
And they actually do it for other events too. So, and I only know this because I have a history of doing commercial insurance and insuring other cities. So even if they were doing a cancer walk or something and somebody wanted to set up, or the city wanted to set up something there, they would absolutely cover it as well.
Okay. We're required to ask the water owners to have insurance on the street dance and blah, blah, blah.
Yep, so they do have the insurance coverage for this as well, and that's stipulation for the liquor liability.
Maybe, and we could do it all umbrella under the whole city.
We could, but we are only needing this for such a short time if we were trying to insure ourselves for the entire year, it would cost a lot more money. We better make more money selling alcohol.
Well, yeah, I understand now. But
All
I just, you see what I'm, devil's advocate.
No, that's okay. They're good questions, absolutely.
Okay. So, I guess we approve that. It's been going on for a long time, and I think this been leaked all the time like that? First time I seen it being on
It's been on every application I've been since I've been here. I've been here for years.
Do we need a motion for this?
Yes.
Okay, I'll move to approve the liquor license permits for the Gilbert Fire Department Relief Association.
Motion by Councilor Skrillex to approve this alcohol gambling permit for the Gilbert Fire Department for the 2 dates in question, the July 3rd, and also, what was the other date again?
The 17th through the 19th, which are the dates that crawl for cure.
July 17th or 19th for the crawl for the cure. Do I have a second on that? I'll second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, let's pick that meeting dates of June 1st at 6 o'clock, Monday. Special meeting date. It's not a regular meeting, it's a special meeting, not a working session, it's a special meeting.
Special session with a closed session.
With a closed session involved, for June 1st, starting at 6 o'clock.
Were there 2 open session items and then one, actually there's 2 closed session items too.
There's 2 open, the 310 or be gone, and the ask me grievance, which I don't know that we need to have that on there, but we'll put it on there.
That was grievance. Ask me grievance.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What did you say again? And the utility bill.
The 310 or be gone. Oh, and then the utility bill.
Yeah.
Utility
Personnel.
Yeah, so those were the open ones. The closed session items were,
The utility bill, I think, has to be closed session as well, doesn't it? Because it's data privacy.
Utility bill is not a closed session, no.
no, I don't think it is because
Okay.
this is a customer who has come to us.
Okay.
So, and we're really, basically, we're asking for legal opinion on this, I think.
It's just like, are we okay, somebody, a couple of years ago, $11,000, from go 11 to 1,000 to $3,000. The old 11, we made a motion for 3, we sell that bill, it was all in the open, all in public. And those bills are public.
If needed, we can not use the customer's name.
Right.
And refer only to the property.
Okay.
So,
On the closed session, I have administrative personnel, staffing, and strategy,
Yep.
which includes,
Would that
Clerk.
also include the discussions about the
Yes.
time card and the rules?
Right. Okay, so,
I don't want to make it
Yep.
too obvious
Yep.
what it's regarding.
well, somebody needs to make a motion, I'll step up to here, make a motion for June 1st, 6 o'clock, in a special meeting, with the items specified for the open part and closed session part.
I'll second.
Mayor Stepkov, the chair, made a motion for a special meeting, and seconded by Council Skrillex. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chair goes back to Mayor.
Okay, Georgia property, it says on here, if you look, $8,000, 2,000 concrete costs, which I think you said you would pay for, like a sidewalk policy we have, they pay for the concrete, and the city pays for the labor. And I think that, I said that to him, I asked him, and then see, I didn't hear an objection to that. But I think the estimated cost is $8,000 here. So, are we gonna do it? Also wanna do it? I think we need to do it.
I'll go ahead and motion to approve the labor cost associated with this curb construction project, I guess, with the understanding that the property owner take care of the cost of the contract.
Concrete?
Do we have to cap that dollar amount? Like, should we say up to X number of dollars? 'Cause
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was like a guesstimate.
Yeah, so maybe capping the labor at 8,000?
Six, oh, the total is 8.
Total.
Right.
Oh, but
Right.
you're saying 8.
Yeah, so right now it's
Okay.
listed as an estimate of 6,000 for labor, so we could cap it at no more than 8,000 for labor.
Up to,
And he's responsible for all the concrete price then?
Yep.
or anything over 8.
Yep, so the property owner is responsible for materials.
we're paying just labor.
Well, if labor's over 8, then we gotta come back. We're saying in the motion, that he's responsible for the concrete bill.
Let me clarify the motion then. So we approve the labor cost up to $8,000. The property owner is responsible for all of the materials cost and anything over $8,000 in labor.
And if he's okay with that, it gets done. And then, you second that? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Council Reddick, seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, you got summer help person?
Yep. Just, Zachary Anderson, I'd like to hire him so we can get him started next week.
Make a motion to hire, step off the chair, hire Zachary Anderson for our next, fourth summer helper.
Mayor stepped up the chair to hire a second year, an additional summer help, Zachary Anderson. Is there a second?
I'll second as long as that's contingent upon the standard hiring
Yep.
process.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Chair goes back to you.
Okay, next. We'll find those, what we have next, council, is the resolution that are finally done. I was on a library foundation board for 23 years, 3 years currently. We just abandoned or demolished our board. And this is a long-standing board that was started in 1991, I believe. And I was chairman of that until 2011. I just came back 3 years ago. And we raised this money for the Gilbert fund of $100,000 note, and all interest went to this library. The Russo fund was given to us by the Russo family, and was justified for books only. And the Gilbert Foundation was money after the $100,000 match that we made. And I don't know how much money, I can't remember how much money is left over in that, but all that is gone back to the Minnesota Foundation. And all the interests of those funds, which I'm gonna read here, interest annually go to the library above and beyond city council budgets. They're not, it should be any council should not be looking at these things as a budget money, okay? We go above and beyond any council's, but money to the library. It shouldn't be used. I know thank God there's a state statute that, based on the Gilbert size and blah, 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 we are required by law to levy this $103,000. I know the library board has come here many times for like 110,000 and they got denied, it goes back to 103 because they, once they look at this, we don't need that 110,000 from us. You know, because you're getting this. That's not what this is.
That's over and above.
Huh?
Over and above.
Yeah, over about anything that's done here. And, but council uses it, and by not going higher than 103, because then you would have to levy the rest of the town for the extra money. So, and thank God we have these things funded, and I've been part of this for 23 years, and it's gone. Not to say that friends of the library might not come up with somebody, not this group, but it's another part of the library system that could be used to help the library. Anyway. But we have to accept this money, and we do this every year, except for this last, every year we do this, so it's nothing new. So we have, resolution 2026-04, for $1,347.01. And, from the St. Paul, Minnesota Foundation to the library. And it's gonna be used for, on the second sheet. To purchase adult fiction, and this is called the Mary Russo Fund. This is the Russo Family Memorial Fund. This is annually for books and for the library. So we just got to approve it. That's all. If you do nothing else, and we accept this money, and then it goes to the library. Okay. So do I hear a motion to accept this?
We have to do each one, or can we do them
Yeah.
all?
They have to be done individually.
Each one individual, yeah. Three different funds.
I'll go ahead and move to approve resolution 2026-04 for accepting donation in the amount of $1,347.01.
All right, motion by Councilor Skirvik, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Reddick, to approve resolution 2026-04, accepting that money. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I have to read this resolutions. City of Gilbert, resolution 2026-04, so the public knows where this money is coming from. Resolution accepting donations. Whereas the City of Gilbert is generally authorized to accept donations of real and personal property pursuant to Minnesota statutes, section 465.03 for the benefit of its citizens, and whereas the following persons and entities have offered to contribute the cash amounts set forth below to the city. The name of the donor is St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation, a donation to the library of an amount of $1,347.01. Whereas the City Council finds that it is appropriate to accept the donations offered, now therefore be resolved by the City Council of Gilbert, Minnesota as follows. 1, the donation described above is accepted for the Gilbert Public Library. 2, the city clerk is hereby directed to issue a receipt to the donor acknowledging the city's receipt of the donor's contribution. Adopted by the City Council of the City of Gilbert on May 26, 2026. Approved, done. That's done.
Next motion, I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2026-05, accepting the donation in the amount of $6,516.68.
Okay, motion to Councilor Skirvik to approve resolution number 2026-05. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Reddick. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. City of Gilbert, resolution number 2026-05, resolution accepting donations. Whereas the City of Gilbert is generally authorized to accept donations of real and personal property pursuant to Minnesota statutes, section 465.03 for the benefit of the citizens. And whereas the following persons and entities have offered to contribute cash amounts set forth below to the city. Name of the donor, St. Paul, Minnesota Foundation donation to the Gilbert Library, $6,516.68. For the establishment and maintenance and expansion costs associated with the automation for the Gilbert Public Library. This is generally known as the Leon Olson Gifford Fund. Whereas the City Council finds that it is appropriate to accept the donations offered, now therefore be resolved by the City Council of Gilbert, Minnesota as follows. 1. The donation described above is accepted for the Gilbert Public Library. 2. The City Council clerk is hereby directed to issue a receipt to the donor acknowledging the city's receipt of the donor's contribution. Adopted by the City Council of the City of Gilbert on May 26, 2026. Done.
And lastly, I'll move to approve resolution 2026-06, accepting donation in the amount of $3,276.48.
Motion by Councilor Skirvik, supported by
I'll second.
Councilor Reddick to approve resolution number 2026-06. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. City of Gilbert, resolution number 2026-06, resolution accepting donations. Whereas the City of Gilbert is generally authorized to accept donations of real and personal property pursuant to the Minnesota Statute 6, section 465.03 for the benefit of its citizens. And whereas the following persons and entities have offered to contribute the cash and amounts set forth below to the city. Name of the donor, St. Paul, the Minnesota Foundation, donation to the library in an amount of $3,276.46. Purpose of this money is to go to the Gilbert Public Library's account for improvements, programs, and expenses which are beyond the City of Gilbert's allotted budget. This was formerly called the fund name of Gilbert Public Library Foundation. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of Gilbert, Minnesota. Whereas the City Council finds it appropriate to accept the donations offered, now therefore be resolved by the City Council of Gilbert, Minnesota as follows. 1. The donation described above is accepted for the Gilbert Public Library. 2. That the city clerk is hereby directed to issue a receipt to the donor acknowledging the city's receipt of the donor's contribution. This has been adopted by the City Council of the City of Gilbert on May 26, 2026. Done. Thank you, and no other further business, under miscellaneous, I don't believe we got any loose ends. And then motion to adjourn. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by
I'll second.
Councilor Reddick, to adjourn at 8:38. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Adjourned. Thank you. We're going to June.